secrets, the game plan. I'm going to be sharing with you why Twitter, like why are we even on this platform, why are we even giving it the time of day. I'll be breaking down Twitter cards, so you'll see how that works. It's really Twitter's way to allow your ads and your information to stand out in the crowd. Before, when people would hear about Twitter, they'd say, how in the world are you going to advertise on that platform when it just looks like a bunch of just 140 character text just running rampant through my news feed? So, why would I want to advertise there? Well, you'll notice when you see these Twitter cards, it's another example of, in my opinion, Twitter doing their best to make it really cool for advertisers. And then we're going to dig into Twitter retargeting, which is why you're here, to where when people essentially see or click, which is what I like about Twitter. Okay, again, different from a lot of websites where an individual has to click. What about if they just see your ad? If it's just displaying, yes, you can build an audience of people to just see your ad, which is pretty cool. And then I'm going to get into a live demo and show you how to actually place an ad on a capture page. All right, so let's dig in. Why Twitter? So this is my Twitter news feed. This was actually an image that I have shared before. If you've been on webinars before where I've kind of briefly gone over Twitter. But this is what a news feed in Twitter kind of looks like. Now, this was a lady that made a tweet. It said, learn why lazy people are the best to hire for your company. And I'm not sure what she was talking about, but that was a tweet that I saw on my news feed. So I wanted to do a quick test. So I went over to a site called search.twitter.com. And I searched lazy people at that very moment. Now, search.twitter.com is a site that you can go to. It's built into Twitter, and it allows you to basically see what's happening in real time. So if a person says anything, you're able to go to search.twitter.com, type in that keyword, because the cool thing about Twitter is the conversations are the actual keywords. Whereas on other search engine websites, when someone is searching for something, that's the keyword. But if someone's talking about lazy people, you have the ability to put your information in front of them. So I did the search and look what happened. Right when I did it, this tweet came up, which was the one that I saw on my newsfeed, plus a lot of other people's tweets that had to do with lazy people. As you can see, people lazy, and obviously I don't have enough room to show you the entire slide, but I think you get the point. So some of you are saying, well, how does jumping into a person's conversation help me build my business? Okay, cool. You can see a person said something about lazy people. What does that have to do with my business? Well, Twitter, again, allows you to jump into the active conversations going on in real time. And there's nothing more powerful than you being able to jump into active live conversations. So how does this relate to your business? Let's say you have a weight loss product. And Twitter is one of those places where you can really let your imagination run wild. I mean, think about all the things people could potentially be saying on Twitter that would make them eligible to see your current product. So I went in and I typed in want to lose weight. Okay, and I did the search on search.twitter.com. And the first thing you'll notice is you'll see ads. Now, these are Twitter ads. This is actually a website card. Now, these are people doing follow campaigns, which means they want to get people to follow them anytime someone says they want to lose weight. And then you can see the traditional tweets, I want to lose weight, and so on. All right, so if you think about the power of that, if you've got a product and it's a weight loss product, if it's a travel product, if it is a whatever you want to, think about product, think about what people could actively be talking about that you can put your product in front of them. And with Twitter ads, you're able to literally have that show up directly in their newsfeed. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind, and I want you to think about your interaction, let's say, on even Facebook. Okay, you'd be surprised at how many people actually search for things in the search bar on social media. So this can happen not only for what people are saying, it can actually happen for what people are searching. Because people can go in and search a hashtag or search a keyword, and you can have your ad or your profile basically show up. Now, remember this, follow campaigns, website cards, again, staying in front of your target audience. All right, so the question is, how do you stand out in the crowd on Twitter? Because as we go back to the prior slide, you'll notice that this is what most people are used to seeing, right? Just your typical text type of tweet in the newsfeed. Now, the way you stand out in the crowd on Twitter is with Twitter cards. So here's an example of a Twitter lead generation card, and it's one of the ways in which I generate leads on Twitter. Now, a lot of people aren't even aware of this, but we are probably generating just as many leads, if not more, on certain days on Twitter than we are on other social media sites. And it's extremely powerful. And one of the reasons is Twitter lead generation cards, which allow you to generate a lead when a person literally clicks a button. Okay? So what do I mean by that? Well, typically on most websites, a person has to click on a button, go to a page, and then opt in, and then you get the lead. Well, on Twitter, when I use a lead generation card, I can make this image be whatever I want. If you have a product, if you have a service, it doesn't matter. And the second they click on this button, the lead is automatically generated into my autoresponder. So let me just be clear. They see this in their newsfeed, it stands out in the crowd, they click this button, bam, I have a lead. Okay, that's the power of Twitter. Now, Twitter website cards are awesome as well. So that was a Twitter lead generation card. This is a Twitter website card. So if you're a blogger, okay, if you are a content creator, what I do is every time I create a post, okay, I create a website card on Twitter, and I can do the exact same thing that I would do on any other social media site and drive them directly to my website. All right. Now, one of the things that's cool about Twitter is, people are very active if they're Twitter users, more so than even Facebook that I found. So, for example, if people are used to using Twitter, they're going to click on your site, they're going to go through your content. They're just very mobile friendly. I found they're a slight bit, and this is obviously no statistical fact, but I found that Twitter users tend to buy, spend more, are more engaging because they're using Twitter. It's just a much more, I don't know, I guess it's a little bit more technically challenging than, let's say, Facebook. So the people that use Twitter, I found to be much more engaging. All right, so here's a Twitter website card. So whenever I do a blog, I literally just create the card on Twitter, and then I can do the same type of advertising that I would do on any other social media website. So where do you set up Twitter cards? You simply go into your ads back office, and then you will see this little tab that says creatives, and you simply click on cards. Now, in our full course on Twitter, where we show you how to set them up, how to link it to your autoresponder. But again, we're here to talk about retargeting. I just wanted to show you where you can go. They're very simple. It'll take you a second to have your card up and running. And you can start promoting your Twitter cards to all of your followers, to any specific audience. It's awesome. All right. So how do you actually place ads on Twitter? Okay, when you click on your little icon, okay, there's going to be a drop down that's going to come out. And literally it'll say Twitter ads. You click on that button. It'll take you to your ads account. Now, what I want to do real quick is briefly share with you the types of ads that you can run on Twitter. All right, so you can run leads on Twitter, which essentially are what I showed you with the lead generation card. So when the person clicks on the button, you automatically generate the lead. That's the type of ad that you'd be running if you wanted to generate leads on Twitter. Follow campaigns are what I showed you earlier. So a person is talking about something or searching for something, your profile shows up, and you basically will get people to start following you. Now, the cool thing about Twitter that's different than, let's say, Facebook is the fact that when you do an update on Twitter, it automatically shows up in everyone that's following you in their newsfeed. It's not filtered. For example, on Facebook, the people have to be engaging with you for them to see your updates all the time in their newsfeed. On Twitter, it just shows up. Now, the good and the bad of that. There's a lot of tweets going on, right? So people that have a lot of followers, they may not necessarily see your tweet right away if you're organically tweeting. But if you're advertising with ads, when they go on Twitter, they're going to see your profile more on the top of their newsfeed because it's going to keep placing it there the second they log into Twitter. And that's one of the advantages of running ads. Now, Twitter engagement ads are very, very similar to other types of engagement ads. This is where you're getting charged for people to retweet, comment on your tweet, and obviously click on whatever it is that you're trying to drive traffic to. And the more engagement, just like any other social media website, the more people you're going to attract, the more people are going to start connecting with you, retweeting your content, and so on. Now, there's also custom ads where you can then target your audiences, which we're going to get into when we get into retargeting. You can target your audiences. You can target people who are similar to your audiences. There's so many cool different things you can do in the advertising. That's why I'm telling you, I think people are sleeping on Twitter, and for all I can say is, oh well, I guess we'll reap all the benefits of them not paying attention to it. All right, so let's take a look at leads on Twitter. I want you to get a visual of how it works. So here's my Twitter ad. Now imagine that's showing up in the newsfeed versus this. See how this looks? How much attention would I actually be paying to those tweets? But when I do my ad, look what happens when it shows up in the newsfeed. So people can literally click on this button, and I would generate the lead. Now, one thing I didn't mention, the lead that you generate from a Twitter lead is the actual email address they use to sign up for Twitter. So that's one of the reasons that the open rates and the conversions are so high on Twitter, because you're not getting people to give you fake emails. So we see 60-70% open rates on our Twitter leads because we're getting a real email. It's the email address they're using for Twitter. So when we're doing this, we get very cost-effective leads. And, I put this slide in late, but I want to show you guys, here's one campaign that we're running. We're generating leads for $2.39. This one, it's a little bit higher, $6.83 per lead. That's not per click. Those are actual opt-in leads. And it's a very, very targeted campaign that we're running here. To be honest, that's a lot higher than what we typically see, but it's extremely powerful. I mean, you sell a product, that's more than that. Obviously, you're going to see a big return on your investment. All right, so let's take a look at follow campaigns. So when you do a follow campaign, you saw how it will look when people are searching. But when you're on your profile, Twitter actually shows you people who you should follow. All right, so when you're running a promoted page ad, not only will your ad show up when people are searching and when they're just scrolling through their newsfeed, when you're just sitting on your own page, on your own newsfeed, you'll start to see who to follow. And if you notice, over here it says promoted. So this person, Lucas, is actually paying to have his profile show up on my page, okay, if that makes sense. So if I were to click follow, he's able to build his list of followers, and every time he does a tweet, anything that he tweets basically shows up to all of his followers, okay? So that's where another place where a follow campaign will basically show. Now I want you to remember this because, a lot of times people don't place a lot of importance on follow ads, but I'm going to show you guys something here in a second that's going to have you pumped up to get people to follow you on Twitter. All right, so when you get a person to follow you, you're going to get notifications, and they'll show up right here. So you'll see new notifications if people are retweeting your information, if people are commenting on things that you're doing. You'll see all those notifications right here. So you can see on this particular case, I had 46 notifications, followers, people commenting, retweeting, engaging on my tweets. That's where you will see if someone follows you. Now, here's the thing that has me excited. All right, when you basically get a person to follow you, one of the things that Twitter used to have happen was you had to be following the person and they had to be following you back to do a push notification. Okay, now, if a person is following you, even if you're not following them back, you can do a push notification and connect with them. All right, so I want you to play this out. We're going to go back a few steps. So imagine you run this ad right here. Someone specific in your niche market follows you. Okay, you go to your notifications, you check, you see that they followed you. Okay, so now you go and you send them a private message. Okay, you can send them this push notification. You can see this shows up right on their phone. Message from Vin Street Live. Hey, I noticed you just followed me. Curious. How did you find me? Are you looking for lead generation tips? Okay. So that shows up right on their phone, obviously, as long as they have notifications on their phone. That's